Hello, my name's Simone and I'm a counselling psychologist. And I'd like to talk about a topic that's important to me today, which is men's health. So I want you to think about it in a different way, as a split that runs through how we're organised into men and women. It's older than any of us. Women are assigned the interior and men are assigned the exterior. And this is not a natural split, it's cultural, it's political, and it costs both sides something specific. So the interior is the body, emotions, the private, the domestic, the felt. And for women, this becomes the sort of whole territory of the self. And the same culture that assigns it then treats it as suspect, right? So the female body as a site of pathology is not a metaphor. Hysteria located disorder in the womb, it's Victorian, and medical discourse, as Emily Martin showed, reads the female body as a system that leaks, it fails, it malfunctions. And Susan Bordeaux, one of my favourite writers, traced how women get reduced to a body that has to be under surveillance, it has to be monitored and managed without end. Iris Marion Young, another fantastic researcher, described feminine bodily life that's sort of hemmed in, it's self-conscious, and it's lived as an object as much as sort of capacity. And emotion is coded as excess. The interior becomes something that women are and something to be contained, suspicious of. The exterior is action, it's active, mastery, it's the world acted upon. So men are required to prove their value out there in work, money, cars, the muscled body, the beard, the hair, and this is all held as status rather than felt from the inside. And Ray Connell named this version of manhood that sort of organises all of this around dominance and the refusal of vulnerability. So the reward for staying exterior is power, but the cost is the relationship to the interior. And Bell Hooks, one of my favourite quotes, is that patriarchy's first demand is not violence against women, it's men's violence against the self. So before a boy can enact anything outward, he is required to kill off the relational parts of himself that feel. It is a psychic amputation performed early and it's rewarded. And young boys are left with one permitted emotion, which is anger. Everything else, grief, longing, softness, shame, gets rooted through anger or buried. So men inherit pain early, but they've got nowhere to put it. The grief has no channel, and this produces a particular type of helplessness, a powerlessness sort of butting right up next to rage, because the conflict underneath is unspeakable. And it's sort of like, I am a man, so why am I so afraid? And the landscape of masculinity is fragile, hostile, volatile. A man is trying under pressure to be valuable, loved, and to be real, but realness requires exactly what was disavowed, which is vulnerability. Men are being asked to reach for something that they've been trained to fear. And the fear isn't weakness, it's more sort of structural, and it was built, it's conditioned. And this is why men can want family and relationship, and yet they can feel really disconnected the moment they have it. And that's often because connection can arrive as a sort of demand, a demand to tolerate feedback, stay in conflict, let yourself be seen. But the pull is to flee and find relief alone. And the relief comes, but then the old sort of yearning returns, a yearning to be wanted without condition, to find out what a man might be outside this script, paired with a sort of fear that if he opened it, he'd be flooded by something he'd never recover from. So all that loss just gets externalised, ejected from the nervous system. It wasn't right, we didn't work out, we both did things. And this fait accompli sort of protects men from the one thing they're never allowed to do, which is grieve and own how he showed up, what he built, what he curated to confirm what he already expected. And none of this is a personal failing. It's the culture working exactly as it was designed. The split keeps men and women separate, by offloading the entire interior, the feeling, the witnessing, the repair onto women as their work. And the way back from this, it's not through more strength through hard times, not through more stoicism, not through throwing yourself into cold water. That is the disembodiment. That is like a recovery costume. It's a performance. The way back is reclaiming the interior. This is hard. That makes sense. I feel lost. I can stay with your loss. There's nothing to fix here. It's really hard work, and there's only the yearning for more named out loud and sat in together. Men coming together to talk. Because the culture tells men to look outward. The job, the body, the relationship, the house, the car. You can tell I'm really passionate about this. It tells them that inside is women's work. That instruction is the wound. Refusing it is the beginning. And I feel very strongly about this because at a point in my life where I was very vulnerable, my grandfather took his own life because he had developed an illness that meant he was going to lose his sight. And the idea of him being needy was enough for him to take his own life. And I feel very strongly about this when I have men sat in front of me, because actually when you offer men a safe space, they talk, they share. And it's such a privilege to be able to experience that. So I hope this has offered you a different way of looking at men's health today, and a way that sees our differences, our gender differences, not as something to divide, but as something to unite.